Hey guys, Angus, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my personal predictions of the 2016 Oscars. So, of course, as you know, this is sort of a yearly thing on most of my videos. You'll be able to sort of predict that. I've already done these sort of videos before, and of course, I'll be putting the links for my predictions from 2015 and also 2014 as well. Now, both of those years, I did actually get some right, and of course, I did get some wrong as well, but these are just my opinions. And this is just what I think. So for some of the films I may be a little biased, and some I may be a bit negative towards, but that's just it. That's just the way it is. Instead of actually going through every single possible nomination, I actually sort of like to round it out, and this time I'm actually rounding out to 12 nominations. So I'm talking about the 12 categories that I think are most important in my opinion. Now, of course, people disagree with me, but these are, in my opinion, my most important categories, and I'll be predicting Best Picture, Director, Actress, Actor, Supporting Actor and Actress, Original Screenplay, Best Animation, Original Score, Cinematography, Best Visual Effects, Film Editing, and also Costume Design as well. So straight off, for First Picture, this film just blew me away, and if you've seen my top films of 2015, you'll know that this film just blew me away, and it has got to be The Revenant. Absolutely has got to be The Revenant. Now, there are some good choices this year for Best Picture, but I think this one, there's every single year there's always one significant feature or style about the film that means it gets Best Picture, and in The Revenant, I just totally think that it stands out from the rest. It truly is incredible. I also forgot to mention, the way I'll do it is I'll do my first choice first, and then also I'll do my second choice. So my first choice, I guarantee think that this will get it, and my second choice is what I actually think also might get it as well, but not as much. So my second choice for Best Picture is Bridge of Spies, and the first reason I say this is because it's a Spielberg film. He's an absolutely classic director. He's truly done some incredible work. He's very familiar in terms of the Oscars and also Best Pictures as well and Best Director, but I think this will pull it off if The Revenant doesn't win it. One thing that did confuse me is why this film wasn't nominated, and it's the Fantastic Four. Like, are you kidding? Like, that film, come on, Oscars, like, what are you doing? This film was amazing. This totally deserved Best Picture. Best Director, of course, has got to go to the director, again, of The Revenant. I think you can see already that I'm going to be biased towards The Revenant, but that simply is because I thought this film just amazed me in every single way. The cinematography, the editing, the acting, the story, screenplay, directing, just all of it, every single little feature of it was truly incredible, and I'd actually absolutely love to see this again in a cinema on IMAX, or I can just see myself watching this film in the future a number of times over and over again. So of course, because of this, I think Alejandro Inarritu for The Revenant just purely has to win, and my second choice for Best Director is actually George Miller for Mad Max. And Mad Max, again, if you've seen my top 5 list for best films of 2015, you'll know that I absolutely found the directing of Mad Max absolutely incredible. Fucking Facebook. This truly was an amazing film, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he did actually win Best Directing, to be honest. Best Actress, I think you know who this has got to go to. I think it's just a pity that he hasn't got a fucking million Oscars already. His face deserves an Oscar. Yeah, I said it. Of course, that is Leonardo DiCaprio, and of course he plays the main role and also the protagonist in The Revenant. What an incredible job he did. Now, I just think this film, I don't even know where to start with this film, but especially the acting as well. If it's not that, then I think Eddie Redmayne from The Danish Girl, I think he was really solid. I haven't seen the entire film, but I have seen highlights from it, and of course he has won an Oscar before because he's an incredible actor. So for Best Actress, I think this is going to go to Cate Blanchett from Carol. Again, I haven't seen the entire film, but I thought that she's a very recognisable character in the Oscars, and I think that she will get nominated. However, this isn't really a main focus. I haven't really sort of thought about the actresses. That's not really been sexist, but I'm just more interested in sort of other nominations, for example, Best Visual Effects and Best Cinematography. My second choice, Charlotte Rampling from 45 Years. Best Supporting Actress, again, this has got to go to Tom Hardy from The Revenant. I thought him as, I think I'd actually rather have Tom Hardy actually win it, rather than Leonardo DiCaprio win it for actor, simply because I thought he really was a really fantastic antagonist in this film, and I thought he did a fantastic job. His accent was absolutely on point, and I thought the way he delivered it was incredible. If he doesn't win it, then I think Christian Bale from Big. I mean, again, I haven't really seen the entire film, but I think that will be another possible nomination. Adam Driver from Star Wars The Force Awakens. I really think that he should have been nominated because he was a fantastic supporting actor. Of course, he's the main villain, and he is going to be the next main villain in the following Star Wars films. Of course, his appearance was a bit surprising, but that doesn't matter. The way he delivered it, he truly was gripping and emotional, and I really, really liked him as a character as well. And that simply was because he was a fantastic actor, and I truly think that he should have at least been nominated because it really was a solid performance, and of course significant as well. Also, Jason Mitchell from Straight Outta Compton, why he wasn't nominated as well, I don't know. I thought Straight Outta Compton was a fantastic film, one of my favourite films of 2015. The fact that he wasn't nominated I thought was really disappointing. Of course, there are always going to be sort of disappointments in the Oscars. I felt he definitely should have been nominated because I found his performance really fantastic, and I really enjoyed it as well in Straight Outta Compton. Best Supporting Actress, I think Kate Winslet in Steve Jobs. Now, it's funny because I really, really did not like the film Jobs. I thought the way it was delivered in terms of the screenplay was really, really frustrating, and I thought the writing was really annoying as well, but that doesn't stop me actually liking the performances. Of course, Michael Fassbender was solid as a main actor, but I definitely thought that Kate Winslet as supporting actress was really solid, and I wouldn't be surprised if she won it. Rachel McAdams from Spotlight. Again, I haven't really seen the film, but I think that's my possible nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Original Screenplay, I actually think this would go to Ex Machina, definitely. Simply because I usually find, one of the main things I've noticed is how there's literally product placement. There's never product placement. There's never any significant objects or any items or anything distinguishable that you can usually see in the film. For example, Her got nominated, and that was very distinguishable in terms of the screenplay and how the props and the mise en scène was very significant and very original, but I felt that was very strong in Ex Machina, and I wouldn't be surprised if that won it. I didn't actually like the film, but I felt the original screenplay was fantastic, and I wouldn't be surprised if it won. I also think Straight Outta Compton for Best Original Screenplay is another possible option. That, again, absolutely loved. The screenplay, I thought, was really fantastic simply because it was Ice Cube, he was a huge part of the directing, and I felt he knew exactly what to do when it came down to delivering the right screenplay. Cinematography, again, this either has to go to The Revenant or Mad Max Fury Road. I'm not really doing a first or second choice. Either film had breathtaking cinematography. I felt the cinematography in the two different films, of course, are completely different. Sort of George Miller wanted to go for the very action style, so there are just millions of shots in that film, and some fantastic ones as well, but Alejandro sort of really wanted to go for a more cinematic style. Of course, what's famous for what he did in Birdman was doing these long shots, and in The Revenant there was a long shot at the start where there's this huge battle scene, and I just do not know how they managed to film that. I will never know. Of course, it's a very high budget film and they've spent a long time making it, but the shot they did was breathtaking. I mean, it just went on and on and on, and I couldn't believe that it was still going, and I really just thought that either film just had absolutely fantastic cinematography. If either one of them doesn't win, then I will be disappointed. Best costume design, Mad Max Fury Road, definitely. There were so many fantastic characters in this film. I don't think every single one was gripping, but the range of characters was amazing. The props was fantastic. Of course, there was a lot of CGI and visual effects implemented into the film to sort of make the range of characters a lot bigger. For example, when you sort of around the city and you see a lot of people, but there are a lot of scenes when you can tell a lot of props have been used, and of course a lot of characters. And I think the style of this film as well is sort of in the desert, in the sand, and I felt that it was really significant. If that doesn't win it, then again, The Revenant. Same with cinematography, either The Revenant or Mad Max Fury Road. Best original score, I think, is going to go to Bridge of Spies, and I simply say this is because of who did it. It's Thomas Newman. He did a incredible job in doing the soundtrack for American Beauty. The reason I say that is because the way he makes his music and composes it is that he makes it very simple, but it's incredibly emotional and effective. I don't really know if he's done in every single song and every single part of the soundtrack for Bridge of Spies, but I definitely think he will win this. If he doesn't win it, then I think the soundtrack from The Hateful Eight will win it. However, there were a couple of films that I think should have been nominated. Firstly, The Martian should have been nominated for original score. I felt that was quite solid. And of course, the biggest surprise is Mad Max Fury Road. Now, of course, it did receive 10 nominations, but I don't give a shit. I think that the soundtrack for this was really fantastic, and it should have been recognised. The fact that other films have been recognised really pisses me off. For visual effects, I think this is going to go to The Martian. It could possibly go to Star Wars, but I think we'll go to Martian. Of course, if you want to check out a review of that, then you can do. I'll put in a link there. And if it doesn't, I think it'll go to Ex Machina. And the reason I say that is because when they choose visual effects in the Oscars, it isn't really about how much money has been put into it or how many visual effects they've actually used. It's how they actually use it. So, for example, a lot of films have one visual effects, for example, Life of Pi, and that was up against the Avengers. Now, of course, the Avengers had so many more visual effects, and if the Oscars did actually go for visual effects in terms of how many there were, I think every single possible Marvel film would win it, and loads of other types of films would win it. But the way that they've used it in The Martian and also Ex Machina was very interesting. I thought it was very significant. It sort of creates a lot of concepts and ideas. There were so many films that I felt that should have been nominated. Firstly, Ant-Man, that definitely should have been nominated. Tomorrowland, that had some really fantastic 3D effects and special effects, and it just looks really fantastic in IMAX, and that simply is because of the visual effects. Spectre, definitely incredibly high budget Bond film. I was very surprised actually that wasn't in. Avengers Age of Ultron, I mean, I didn't really like that film out of all the Marvel films, but I definitely felt the visual effects were fantastic. And of course Chappie as well, just such a huge range of films that I felt should have been nominated, but at the end of the day, that's the nominations, and I felt they were wrong. Animation, I definitely think this has got to go to Inside Out. Absolutely. If this does not go to Inside Out, then yeah, the Oscars have got everything wrong. I mean, there weren't actually surprisingly that many good animations this year. I usually found that there are always sort of really good competition between Pixar and DreamWorks. However, this year there just weren't really that many good films in terms of animated films, and I felt because of that, Inside Out have got a very, very clear chance of winning this. However, because of that, I simply think there isn't a second choice. I definitely felt that Minions should have been nominated. That was another one by DreamWorks that was significant, but I didn't really see much of Minions, but I felt it should have been nominated at least because it was a good animation in terms of quality. But hey. Anyway, those are my predictions for the Oscars for 2016. Of course, if you do have different opinions, then definitely be sure to comment what you think will win. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching. And of course, if you didn't like this video, then definitely be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Globe for actress in leading role. He's won the BAFTA for the actress in leading role, and now he's won the Academy Award for actress in leading role. And I'm just not surprised at all. I knew he was going to win this because, quite frankly, his performance in The Theory of Everything was absolutely breathtaking. Throughout the entire performance, so of course the director for The Revenant was Alejandro Inarritu. Wait, was that right?
Alejandro Inarritu.
Alejandro Inarritu. No.
Alejandro Inarritu.
Inarritu.
Alejandro Inarritu.
Alejandro Inarritu. Fuck. I'm actually sort of talking about the 12 categories. Sorry. And that was. That yeah. I think Eddie Redmayne is my second choice. For Best Actress, I think Kate Blanchett. Sorry. For Best Actress, I think Kate Blanchett. Blanchett? I think it's Blanchett. Is it Blanchett or Blanchett? Oh, I have to crack out the Google Translate. How do I not know how to say this? Blanchett. Blanchett. Knew it. I was fucking right. So for Best Actress, I think this is going to go to Kate Blanchett. But I felt that he definitely.